All right. Usually, yeah. The student will understand how to solve and graph. I put A-N instead of and. Whoops. Graph multi-step inequalities. All right. So this first one, believe it or not, when I taught this to 7th grade kids, this was one of the hardest ones for them. This one and another one. Okay. So how do I do this one? You just subtract. Yeah. You just combine your like terms. That's all you have to do. So it's 4x, and 4x is greater than or equal to 20, and then I divide by?
It's 5 over.
You divide by 4. X is greater than or equal to 5. It's just combining your like terms.
Is that it? Is the lesson?
It's the whole lesson. That's it.
Are you really?
You think I'm serious?
Oh. Are we?
Aww. And by the way, you have the PowerPoint in front of you. Like, you can't click through and see what else we're doing.
That's your, like, that's you
All right. Okay, next part. Solve and graph the following. So we need to do what?
Distributive property.
Distributive property. All right, so 2 times 4y is 8y. Minus 2 times 6 is 12. Is greater than 12. What's my next step?
You plus 12 on both sides.
Yep, you do. I have 8y is greater than 24. And then the last step?
Divide by 8.
It is.
And even if you're dividing by or multiplying by a negative, you still put the sign.
Only if you're dividing or multiplying by negative. Yes.
So it's the same.
All right, so let's go ahead and graph, because I do want to make sure you guys are getting enough practice with graphing, because that's something that confuses a lot of people. So we will graph this year and next year. We will do a lot of graphing next year. So when we look at this, I always require, if we're doing a number line, that you have at least 3 numbers. You can have as many as you want, but at least 3. Is there going to be an open circle or closed circle?
Open.
Good. All right, and remember, if the chompers are facing like this means he doesn't want the 3. So what type of numbers does he want?
Bigger numbers.
So it's bigger numbers. So we would shade to the right, because this would be all of the larger numbers. Okay, for some reason last hour they were still getting confused on that a little bit. Do I need to do a few more of those? Are you guys okay?
I understand.
You're getting that? Okay. All right. Next part. This was the next problem that 7th grade math kids really had a hard time with. This is the #1 missed problem on their last test. Okay, so let's talk about what the next line of this should be. Gavin.
18 is less than negative 12x plus 6.
Very good. Plus 6. So remember, you have negative times a positive, and then this is truly a negative times a negative, which makes it a positive 6. Okay, then from here we just subtract 6 from both sides. 12 is less than negative 12x. Divide by negative 12. And change the sign. And also x is on the right side, which we don't usually like it on the right side. We like it on the left side better. So you can flip it around if you want. You don't have to. But like in digits, if you have to pick the answer, make sure that the mouth is opening towards the -1. So I would make it look like that. I would need at least 3 numbers on my number line. And by the way, remember, negatives have to go backwards. So when you're graphing these and you have to set up your own, you have to go backwards. Open or close circle at -1. Open. So remember, this little guy is greedy. So if he says chomp, 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 I think I want the -1. What are all these numbers? Below. They're smaller. Okay? Make sense? All right, next slide. You're going to play like your teacher. This is a student who has done the problem incorrecto. That's Spanish for incorrect. It's not really. I just add a no on everything and then it's Spanish, right?
Sombrero.
Sombrero.
Pinata.
No,
Pinata's already a
Pinata's already a
churro.
Yeah, see?
Apple. Burrito. American flago.
Primo. That's how you say it in Spanish. So easy.
No,
All right.
that's how you say it. Senorita.
All right.
That's how it works.
Okay. All right. So go through here and see if you can find the mistake. So a kid has made a mistake. What is the mistake? Everybody take a minute, look at it, see if you can find it. All right, who knows what the mistake is? Sophia.
39 should be negative.
Good. If you go to right here and you subtract 60 and subtract 60, then right here this should be a negative 39. So there's your mistake. Okay? Sometimes what I do is I will just start working, like if I was on a test, I might just come over here and work it myself without looking at it, and then that usually helps me find the mistake. For some reason, sometimes when I look at your work too carefully, I can't find it until I do it myself. All right, next one. See if you can find the mistake on this one. All right, who thinks they found the mistake on this one? Great.
You're not supposed to flip the sign because you're going to divide by a negative number.
Very good. So right here, you divide by +8. +8 does not reverse the sign. It should have stayed the same. Okay? Very good. So the last slide is going to be practice. So go ahead and get your whiteboard supplies. Ding and dong.